This is CoSpaces EDU. It's an example of a 3D animation tool that you can use code with. To interact with the 3D spaces, you can zoom in, zoom out with your mouse wheel. You can drag around just like in Google SketchUp. You can move things around, rotate them around different axes. You can move them up and down using their elevation. You can scale them. And you can turn them so that they're back to where they want to be. We also have different objects that you can change some of their elements. You can right click and change the color of different types of objects. You can also make copies of these things by pressing Alt and the left click button and dragging them out. So if I wanted a whole forest of red trees, I could have them. You can make copies of things that are just simple things. And you can add different objects from our library. Over here on the left-hand side, there's different objects that you can add in. So let's say I wanted a boat in my animation, I can add that boat. I can also delete or add speech bubbles, and I can add different scenes to my animation. So this particular animation has 3 different scenes. To code it, all I have to do is click on the coding, and you can either use JavaScript or Blockly. As you're doing this, you need to make sure that the things that you're trying to code are actually be able to use in Blockly. So if I click on it and I click on the tag, I should be able to toggle switch this to say use in Blockly. If I press home, you can see some of the things that are in the gallery. These are different CoSpaces that other people have created. You can create your own as a classroom, assign an assignment using one of the things that you've done, or you can create your own space. I created this space myself. It's an underwater scene with a rainbow, some seaweed, some fish, and a shark, and a turtle back there lurking behind. You can see this transparent camera. That is the viewpoint where my space will actually take place. If you look at my coding, I have some code up and down. One of the things I struggled with was trying to figure out how to make it not a linear piece of code. But for an animation, I'm not too concerned about that. I also struggled a little bit with the speech bubbles and trying to figure out how to make things come and go and looking at the X, Y, and Z axes. It's kind of tricky because I found it's hard to tell exactly where I wanted something to be. And when I changed their animation, it was really, really difficult. Some of the things that I did with this one is I changed the environment to an underwater environment. You can just change it to whatever environment you have. There's lots of different ones. If I change this to an outdoor scene, it looks kind of silly. But there's also ways that you can upload your own 360 photo. I'm just going to stick with the underwater scene because it makes the most sense. You have different types of objects that you can use, and you can also upload your own. You can do images or audio upload, things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and press play so you can see how far I got with my animation and my scripting. I'm going to press play. I really would have wished that I could have added some sort of audio to this instead of just speech bubbles, but this will do. Shark eats them, and that's the end.